I, 22M, have been with my girlfriend Trisha, 22F, for almost 3 years now, and I really need advice because I feel like I'm losing my mind over this situation. We met during our freshman year of college when we were both 19. She lived down the hall in my dorm building, and we kept running into each other in the communal kitchen. One night we ended up talking until 4 a.m. about everything and nothing, and that was it. I was completely smitten. Trisha was different from any girl I had dated before. She was smart, funny, and genuinely kind. She was studying psychology while I was in engineering, but we both shared a love for true crime documentaries and could spend hours discussing theories about unsolved cases. We started dating officially after 2 months of hanging out, and things were perfect for the longest time. I should provide some background about Trisha's family because I think it's relevant to what's happening now. She comes from a very conservative Christian family in a small town. Her father is a deacon at their church, and her mother runs the Sunday school program. They're the type of people who believe homosexuality is a sin and that therapy can fix it. Trisha has 2 older brothers who are both married with kids, and a younger sister who's still in high school. Her parents constantly pressure her about when she's going to settle down and start a family like her brothers. Growing up, Trisha's best friend was Emma. They met in middle school and were inseparable throughout high school. Trisha always talked about Emma like she hung the moon. According to Trisha, Emma was the only person who truly understood her during those difficult teenage years. They would have sleepovers almost every weekend, and Trisha said Emma was the one who helped her start questioning some of her family's more conservative beliefs. Our relationship was great for the first 2.5 years. We moved in together at the start of our junior year, which was a huge deal because Trisha's parents initially opposed it. They only agreed after Trisha promised we would sleep in separate bedrooms. We don't. We talked about marriage, kids, and our future together. I really thought she was the one. Everything changed about 6 months ago. Trisha started acting different, more distant and distracted. She would spend hours texting someone and hide her phone screen when I walked by. At first, I worried she might be cheating with another guy, but I trusted her enough not to snoop. Looking back, maybe I should have paid more attention to the signs. Last month, she finally told me what was going on. We were sitting on our couch after dinner when she suddenly started crying. She admitted that she thinks she might be bisexual and has been struggling with these feelings for months. She said she's always been attracted to women but suppressed it because of her family. Then she dropped the bomb. She wants to explore these feelings by having a threesome. At first, I tried to be understanding. I know her family's views on sexuality really messed with her head growing up. She told me about this one time in high school when her mom caught her watching a movie with a lesbian kiss scene and made her pray for forgiveness. So I get why she might have repressed these feelings. But the more we discussed the threesome idea, the more red flags started appearing. She had very specific rules about how it would work. She said she wanted to find a woman we both agreed on, but the woman had to be less attractive than her. When I asked what she meant, she said she didn't want me to be more attracted to the other woman than her. She also said that during the threesome, I wouldn't be allowed to touch the other woman at all. I could only touch Trisha while she explored with the other woman. When I pointed out that this seemed more like she wanted to have sex with a woman while I watched, she got defensive and said I was being unsupportive of her journey. The jealousy issues didn't stop there. She got upset when I asked if she had any women in mind for this arrangement. She said she did but wouldn't tell me who because she was worried I might find them attractive. She also said she would need to approve any porn I watched leading up to the threesome to make sure I wasn't fantasizing about the wrong things. Trisha keeps insisting this is just about sex and exploration, but I'm not so sure. When I asked her what happens if she realizes she's more attracted to women than men, she got really quiet. Then she said that wouldn't happen because she loves me, but something about the way she said it felt off. Her best friend Emma knows about all of this because apparently Trisha has been confiding in her. Last week, Emma texted me out of the blue saying I should support Trisha's exploration because it's better than the alternative. When I asked what she meant, she said something cryptic about how suppressed desires often lead to cheating. That message really bothered me because it felt like a threat. I suggested Trisha talk to a therapist about all this first. Not because I think being bisexual needs therapy, but because I think she has a lot of complicated feelings to sort through about her sexuality and her family's beliefs. She got really angry and said therapy is too expensive and she doesn't need to pay someone to tell her what she already knows, that she needs to experience being with a woman to understand her feelings. The thing is, I love Trisha more than anything. She's my best friend and the person I thought I would spend my life with. But I can't shake the feeling that there's more going on here than she's telling me. The jealousy, the specific rules, the cryptic messages from Emma, it all feels like I'm missing something important. Right now we're at a standstill. She brings up the threesome idea every few days, usually after she's been texting with Emma. When I express my concerns, she accuses me of being close-minded like her family. But I don't think that's fair. My issue isn't with her being bisexual, it's with how she wants to explore it while keeping me in this weird limbo state. I don't want to break up, but I also can't marry someone who has these unexplored feelings hanging over our relationship. What if we get married and 5 years from now she regrets not exploring more? Or what if we try the threesome and her jealousy issues make it a disaster? Or what if this whole thing is about something else entirely that she's not telling me? I need advice. Am I being unreasonable here? Should I just let her explore once to get it out of her system? Or am I right in thinking this could only lead to more problems? Has anyone else been in a similar situation? Update 1 first, I want to thank everyone who commented on my original post. Your insights really helped me think through this situation more clearly. A lot has happened in the past 2 weeks, and unfortunately, none of it is good. After reading your comments, I decided to have an honest conversation with Trisha about everything. I told her I understood her need to explore her sexuality, but I wasn't comfortable with the threesome idea given her jealousy issues. However, I said I would consider giving her a one-time hall pass to explore with a woman if that would help her figure things out. I thought this was a reasonable compromise. At first, Trisha seemed relieved and happy with this suggestion. She hugged me and said she was grateful to have such an understanding boyfriend. But then she got quiet for a moment before dropping a bombshell. She already had someone specific in mind for this exploration. It was Emma, her best friend from high school. Yes, the same Emma who texted me about Trisha potentially cheating. The same Emma who's been texting Trisha late at night. Everything suddenly started making sense in the worst possible way. Trisha then admitted that she and Emma have been having intense conversations about sexuality for months. Apparently, Emma recently came out as bisexual and broke up with her boyfriend of 2 years. According to Trisha, these conversations with Emma helped her realize and accept her own bisexual feelings. When I asked Trisha if anything physical had happened between them since we've been together, she swore nothing had. But then she got shifty and admitted Emma had been sending her suggestive photos late at night. Nothing explicit, she claimed, just artistic photos in lingerie or bikinis. Trisha said she never sent anything back, but she also didn't tell Emma to stop because she was confused about her feelings. I was already reeling from these revelations when Trisha decided to come clean about something else. Remember how she told me she and Emma only fooled around once at a sleepover in high school? Well, that was a lie. It turns out they had a regular friends with benefits situation going from junior year of high school all through their first year of college. Let that sink in. Their first year of college, which means it continued into the first few months of my relationship with Trisha. When I pressed her on the timeline, she broke down crying and admitted their last hookup was 3 weeks after she and I started officially dating. I felt like I was going to be sick. Not only had she lied about her sexual history with Emma, but she had technically cheated on me at the beginning of our relationship. She tried to defend herself by saying we weren't that serious yet and she was still figuring things out, but that's no excuse. While all this was coming out, I got a message from James, Emma's ex-boyfriend. He wanted to let me know why he and Emma really broke up. Apparently, Emma confessed to him that she and Trisha had been planning this whole thing for months. The plan was for each of them to ask their partners for a hall pass so they could sleep together without it technically being cheating. James shared screenshots of texts between him and Emma where she talked about her feelings for Trisha. In one message, Emma said she's been in love with Trisha since high school but they could never be together openly because of their families. She said she thought dating men would make these feelings go away, but being with Trisha was like coming home. When I showed Trisha these screenshots, she completely broke down. She admitted that yes, she and Emma had been planning this, but swore it wasn't just about sex. She said she really does love me and wants to stay with me, but she also has deep feelings for Emma that she's never been able to fully let go of. Trisha's been calling and texting constantly since this confrontation. Her messages swing between apologizing profusely and accusing me of being unfair. Sometimes she'll say she'll cut all contact with Emma if that's what it takes to save our relationship. Other times she'll say I'm being controlling by asking her to cut off her best friend. The worst message came last night. She texted saying that if I really loved her, I would understand that she can love both me and Emma at the same time. She suggested maybe we could try polyamory. When I didn't respond, she sent another message saying she's going to stay with Emma for a few days to clear her head. I feel like such an idiot. All those late night texts, the sudden interest in threesomes, the specific rules about me not touching the other woman, it was all just a complicated plan to find a way to be with Emma without having to admit what was really going on. Part of me wants to forgive Trisha. We've built a life together over the past 3 years, and the thought of throwing it all away hurts more than I can describe. But how can I ever trust her again? She's been lying to me for our entire relationship. She cheated on me at the beginning and has been emotionally cheating with Emma for months. I haven't officially ended things yet, but I think we all know where this is heading. Trisha's staying at Emma's place right now, and I'm sitting in our half-empty apartment trying to figure out what to do next. Do I even try to salvage this, or do I just accept that our relationship was built on lies from the start? Update 2 After my last update, I finally did what needed to be done and ended things with Trisha. She moved out of our apartment and in with Emma, claiming it was just temporary until she could find her own place. I tried to focus on healing and moving forward with my life, but life had other plans. Last week, I ran into Trisha's younger sister, Katie, at the grocery store. I tried to avoid her, but she came up to me and said we needed to talk. We went to a nearby coffee shop, and what she told me changed everything I thought I knew about Trisha and Emma's relationship. According to Katie, Trisha and Emma haven't just been best friends who occasionally hooked up, They've been in an on and off secret relationship since they were 16 years old. Apparently, Katie caught them kissing in Trisha's room back in high school, and Trisha swore her to secrecy, telling her their religious parents would disown them if they ever found out. Katie explained that Trisha and Emma had this whole system worked out. They would date guys as cover while secretly being together. When one of them started getting too serious with a boyfriend, they would stage a big fight and pretend not to talk for a few months. But they always ended up back together. She showed me old texts between her and Trisha from when Trisha and I first started dating. In these messages, Trisha was torn about her feelings for me because I was the first guy she actually fell in love with. She told Katie she thought dating me might help her finally get over Emma, but she couldn't make herself cut contact completely. The more Katie talked, the more things started making sense. All those weekends Trisha spent at girls' nights with Emma. The mysterious fights they would have where they wouldn't talk for weeks, only to suddenly make up with no explanation. The way Trisha would get weird and quiet whenever Emma started dating someone new. Even their career choices were connected. They both chose colleges in the same city despite getting accepted to better schools elsewhere. Emma even switched her major to psychology after Trisha did. Everything in their lives was orchestrated to keep them close to each other while maintaining their cover. Katie revealed that every boyfriend Emma ever had eventually got the same speech about her questioning her sexuality and wanting to experiment. Trisha would do the same when she felt Emma was getting too serious with someone else. It was their way of creating chaos in their relationship so they could end up back together without raising suspicions. The threesome suggestion and hall pass request weren't new ideas either. They'd apparently used similar tactics with previous boyfriends. Katie showed me social media posts from their past relationships. There was a clear pattern of them dating guys at the same time, then suddenly both becoming single around the same time, then mysteriously not talking to each other for a while before starting the cycle again. When I asked Katie why she was telling me all this now, she said she felt guilty for keeping their secret all these years. She said she watched Trisha break multiple guys' hearts while playing this game with Emma, but this was the first time she'd seen her sister genuinely struggle with her feelings for someone else. Apparently, Trisha really did love me, which made it harder for her to follow their usual pattern. The final bomb Katie dropped was about Emma's recent breakup with James. It wasn't spontaneous, they'd been planning it for months. Emma's coming out was orchestrated to coincide with Trisha asking me about exploring her sexuality. They thought if they timed it right, they could finally be together openly without their families suspecting they'd been in a relationship all along. After talking to Katie, I went home and looked through old photos of Trisha and Emma on social media. Now I could see what I missed before, the lingering touches, the way they looked at each other, the identical jewelry they sometimes wore. There were even comments from years ago where their friends joked about them being a couple, which they always laughed off as a joke. I feel completely blindsided. The whole time I thought I was in a committed relationship, I was actually just a pawn in their elaborate game of hiding their relationship from their families. Every moment of our relationship was tainted by this secret, and I never had a clue. Update 3: It's been 3 months since Katie revealed the truth about Trisha and Emma's relationship, and a lot has happened. I thought I should give one final update to close this chapter of my life. Trisha and Emma are officially together now. They finally came out to their families 2 weeks ago, though not entirely by choice. Someone from their church saw them kissing at a restaurant in a nearby city and told their parents. Both families reacted exactly as they'd feared. Trisha's father quoted Bible verses about abomination and told her she was no longer welcome in their home. Emma's parents are threatening to cut off her college funding. Her mother even called the psychology department at their university, trying to get Emma removed from the program because she doesn't have the right moral character to be a therapist. Last week, Trisha showed up at my apartment unannounced. She looked different, her hair was cut short, and she had dark circles under her eyes. She said she wanted to explain everything and apologize properly. According to her, she really did fall in love with me, which wasn't part of their usual plan. She said being with me made her think she could finally be normal and make her family happy. She explained how she and Emma started their relationship. They were at church camp when they were 16, and during a sermon about the sins of homosexuality, they held hands under their Bible study books. That night, they kissed for the first time behind the prayer chapel. The irony wasn't lost on either of them. Trisha cried while telling me how they created this system of dating guys to keep their families from suspecting anything. She said every boyfriend before me was just a cover, but I was different. She claimed she truly loved me and thought she could choose me over Emma, but years of hiding their relationship had created a bond she couldn't break. She asked if we could be friends, saying she missed our true crime documentary discussions and my terrible engineering jokes. I told her no. While I sympathize with the pressure she faced from her religious family, it doesn't excuse lying to me for 3 years. She could have been honest instead of manipulating me into being part of their cover-up. The last thing Trisha told me before leaving was that she and Emma are moving to California next month. They both got accepted into graduate programs there, and they want to start fresh somewhere far from their families. She said she hopes I can forgive her someday, but she understands if I don't. Emma reached out too, sending a long email apologizing for her role in everything. She explained how their years of hiding and lying had become so normal to them that they stopped seeing how it hurt others. She's in therapy now, trying to deal with the trauma of growing up in their conservative community and the guilt of how they treated their ex-boyfriends. I'm doing better now. The anger has faded, replaced by a kind of sad understanding. Two scared teenagers created an elaborate system to hide their love, and that system grew into years of deception that hurt everyone involved. While I can understand how it happened, it doesn't make it right. I've started dating again recently. My first date was with a girl from my engineering program who asked me out for coffee. When she told me she was bisexual during our second date, I felt a moment of panic. But then she talked about how important honesty is to her, and how she never wants to hide who she is. It was refreshing. This experience taught me a lot about trust and how important honesty is from the very beginning of a relationship. I don't regret ending things with Trisha, I just regret not seeing the truth sooner. But I'm stronger now, and I know what I want, someone who's brave enough to be honest about who they are, even when it's hard.